Hello, my name is Marcelo Vélez Pereira, and today we're going to interview two people, one from Mexico and another one from another country. And we're going to analyze and discuss about the topic pollution. So here we have my first interviewed one. So we have my friend Alejandro Gil from Mexico. So Alejandro, what is your perspective on pollution, and how did you acquire this perspective?
My perspective on the topic of pollution as a whole is that it is a very serious issue that not only affects one country but the entire world. It affects animals, environments, humans, etc. Pollution often causes diseases on animals, humans, or even deaths of both. I have acquired this perspective during my entire life, since during it I have seen many articles or heard stories about what pollution can do to humans and the diseases it causes, and also, for example, in the ocean, that many animals die because of the pollution that is thrown into it.
All right, interesting perspective that you have there. So now we're gonna move to the second question. Which aspects of your cultural identity can you relate to this issue?
An aspect of my cultural identity that I can relate with pollution is my nationality, since everyone knows that Mexico is one of the most polluted countries in the whole world, and this impacts my life as a whole, since I experience more pollution in general than some other countries. And that's why I think that my nationality has an effect on the topic of pollution. Because if I wasn't born here, I wouldn't suffer, I think, the same amount of pollution that if I was.
Okay, I think that I could kind of agree with you for what you said, because I'm also Mexican, and I think that my nationality could have an impact and contribute to this topic. But let's move on to the next question. What is the impact of pollution on your personal life?
The impact of pollution on my personal life is a very big impact, since pollution can actually affect me in my health, and that could mean having more breathing problems or even shortening of my life. For example, sometimes I couldn't go to football practice because of the quality of the air that was very polluted, and I couldn't risk myself to get a disease from it, so I didn't attend the practice. Another example is when I tried to go to a park and I had to go back because of the amount of trash that was there, and several other examples.
Yeah, I kind of feel related with you right now. But now let's move to the next question. What are the beliefs about the issue in your peer group, family, and community?
The beliefs about the issue of pollution in my family, peer group, in community are all the same. They want to fix it because they know it is a huge issue, not only in Mexico but around the world. The only problem is there is no easy fix, since anything that you try to change to avoid some pollution could result in some other problems from someone in the world.
All right, that's kind of interesting, because I think that I can relate with you, because sometimes when I want to make a change, I don't know, for example, to pick up something from the floor and throw in the trash, or try to recycle things and all that kind of stuff, I feel kind of useless, because I know that all around the world people are, or they're making the same action as me, or they're making the opposite, that is like contributing to pollution and trying to damage the world more. So I kind of relate that. I kind of relate myself with that. So thanks for that comment. So right now, let's move on to the next question. How do you think these groups acquire this perspective or beliefs?
I think these people got these beliefs and perspective of the topic of pollution being a huge issue, primarily for their experiences during their lives. By watching news, documentaries, or hearing even stories from family of people getting sick or even dying because of pollution. Also, by the amount of trash they have seen in the streets, parks, environments as a whole, etc. Also, by experiencing it throughout their whole life, because pollution didn't appear just in one day. Pollution has been going for a very long time, not only in Mexico but throughout the whole world.
Okay, okay. So now I'm going to ask you an important question. So, how do you think pollution is present in Mexico?
I think pollution as a whole is very present in Mexico. Since sadly, we all know that Mexico is probably one of the most contaminated countries with pollution throughout the whole world. And this is because of several reasons. Some reasons are the amount of factories that are in Mexico that daily contaminate the air and pollute it, the amount of trash that people leave in the streets, parks, that affect ecosystems, environments, etc. Another reason is the amount of plastics that are produced in Mexico and that are not properly disposed.
Oh, so as far as I can see, I think you and I think very similar regarding this topic. But now I'm gonna I'm gonna say three cases, okay? And you need to listen closely. I'm gonna say three different cases from three different countries, and I want your opinion about each case. So this is a first case. In some parts of Mexico, some artists are implementing the topic of the reduction of pollution and contamination into murals. The paintings presented in the murals are made with a purpose of spreading awareness among people. I think this is helpful because not many people pay attention to this serious topic, and it is essential to take into account the impact that we're causing to our world. So, what do you think about this?
I agree with you. I also think that it is very helpful because it brings more attention and spreads awareness on the topic of pollution to people that maybe don't realize how big of an issue it is, that it not only affects Mexico but the entire world.
Okay, okay. So far, I like how you respond. So, we're gonna move to the next case. So, in this case, we're gonna talk about a solution, but in another country. So, in Pakistan, companies are trying to build new types of buildings in certain cities. The good thing is that these buildings will be biophilic, meaning that they will be close to nature and have an environmentally friendly composition, which will lead to the reduction of pollution in general. Personally, this is a beneficial investment for Pakistan because nowadays this country is among the top four, I think, most polluted countries. So, Alex, based on the information that I previously shared with you, what can you say about this?
I think what Pakistan is doing is very good since it will not only help them economically but also reducing the amount of pollution there is by creating these new buildings close to nature and having an environmentally friendly composition. I also think that other countries should try to implement this as well in some of their cities and try to get more vegetation, more nature to help battle the problem globally and try to reduce pollution as much as they can.
Okay, Alex, so we have ended our interview, but we're only missing one thing. I want to know your final perspective about this topic, and also I want to know what have you learned about this interview.
In this interview, I learned more about pollution as a whole, but more importantly, I learned new perspectives. I learned them with the help of the cultural expressions from each country. In Mexico, with the artists painting murals to spread awareness and to help people realize that pollution is a big issue, not only in Mexico but in the whole world. In the USA, with the famous people and symbols that have campaigns to spread awareness and to try to make a change. And with Pakistan, building new buildings that help with nature and reducing the pollution in general. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I completely agree with your final comment. I think that we as people we need to find new solutions to eradicate this issue, and also we need to create awareness on people, and not only on people but we need to be conscious about the actions that we produce, even if it's positive on the environment and even if it's negative for the environment, but we need to be conscious about everything. So Alex, it's been a pleasure to having you here, and I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.